Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And today we have a very special guest over here. He's featured twice before on CRIQAZI Diaries. Asjad Pasha. He is the host and producer of Cricket for Us, another YouTube channel. I leave a link below for you to check out. And today we'll be talking about the team of the tournament, which was announced for the T20 World Cup. Cricket returning to Pakistani shores, especially Pakistan bagging the hosting rights for the Champions Trophy 2025. And we'll also be previewing the Pakistan versus Bangladesh T20I series, which starts on Friday on this volume of
CRIQAZI Diaries.
Have a look at that. Smiles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, happy for the members, and it went like a rocket. Well, now we get to 24.
Welcome back to the show, Asjad. How are you doing today? I hope that you have recovered from that semi-final defeat.
I'm doing well, but you had to remind me of that semi-final defeat. So now not so well, but otherwise, yeah, I'm good. It's been a hectic 7 days, but we'll get there. We've got another series coming up. There's a lot of cricket with Pakistan so far until the next T20 World Cup, which is less than a year away. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, man, it's great. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm recovering just fine. Extremely proud of this team. I think they've been great ambassadors. I can't wait for them to get on the pitch once again. I'm itching to watch them. And before we get into anything else, I'd just like to talk about the team that was announced, T20 World Cup team of the tournament. Now, I'll leave the whole team for you viewers up over there. Of course, opening the innings are David Warner and Joss Buttler. Babar Azam is captaining the side at one down, and he's followed by Charita Salanka, Moeen Ali and Aiden Markram. Then you've got the two spinners, Wanindu Hasaranga and Adam Zampa, followed by the three pacers, which are Josh Hazlewood, Anrik Nokia and Trent Bolt. Now, you could make a case for Shaheen over here, Asjad, but then again, those three seamers have done exceedingly well, especially Nokia. He might not have made the semi-final, but he has an economy of under 6 and has 9 wickets in 5 games. But what I don't understand is Mohammad Rizwan's exclusion. Now, here is a guy who's become the first ever person in the history of T20 international cricket to record 1,000 runs in a calendar year in T20 international cricket. And on top of that, he's broken the overall record for runs in a T20 calendar year of Chris Gayle, the universe boss. Chris Gayle's record has been broken. And he also was the third highest run scorer at this T20 World Cup, 350s, including that 50 in the semi-final, which was scored after spending 2 nights in the ICU. Then he took a blow to the head via a Mitchell Starc delivery and also top scored in that game with 67. I feel like Rizwan has been robbed over here because he was an absolute warrior this tournament.
He was a warrior. He was a fighter. He was that guy, right? He was Rocky Balboa. He was the hero of like so many films. But the thing is, if you're going to play Rizwan, you play him in the opening slot. And what David Warner did for Australia in very crucial games kind of warrants him that position. On top of that, if they chose him as the player of the tournament, he makes it up there. And then Joss Buttler. 2 innings by Joss Buttler sealed his position in there. Now, you can talk about Mohammad Rizwan consistently performing, but the issue everyone had with Mohammad Rizwan was the fact that he was slow at the beginning, and if he hung in there after the first 10 overs, he would start accelerating. The issue with Joss Buttler and David Warner is both of them, when they were playing well, were consistently scoring in excess of 140 strike rate, even at the beginning. They kept going through their innings and then would get even quicker as the innings progressed. On top of that, Joss Buttler, if I look at the catches, I think Rizwan took 4 catches, Buttler took 5 catches, something like that. So wicket-keeping wise, if you just look at skill, Rizwan gets it. But the reason why Rizwan wasn't able to make it into the team was the fact that Buttler is more explosive. And on top of that, Buttler had, in the end, taken more catches. He fits into that opening slot and can be explosive with someone like David Warner. The only funny thing there as well is that Mohammad Rizwan would be able to come in at number 3 or number 4 in this kind of team. But Charita Salanka was so good for the games he played for Sri Lanka that it's very hard to take him out of the situation. And it does feel bad. It does feel wrong. It feels like you're robbing him, as you correctly put. But Rizwan ki jagah nahi banti hai. It's very difficult. Like, that's the reason why I made a squad of the tournament, because I was like, Rizwan needs to be in the squad of the tournament, because team of the tournament, even though I love me some Mohammad Rizwan, I just can't put him in.
Fair enough. And I do understand that rationale that, he was opening all tournament and your openers are already set over there. Of course, Babar Azam is also playing at number 3 in this team. But then I would just counter that with the fact that T20 cricket these days is so dynamic. And if you have scored that amount of runs, especially Rizwan, I can see him do well in the middle overs as well, even though it's unproven. I think if you've had that sort of tournament, especially that sort of semi-final, where literally you've risked your life, I think that definitely warranted a spot. But apart from Rizwan, I don't think I would replace anyone else. I'm pretty satisfied with the team. And if I were to bring in Rizwan, I'd bring him in place of one of Asalanka or Moeen Ali. But other than that, I'm quite satisfied with the team. What about you?
I had this discussion in my head, and I think I put Shaheen instead of Bolt. But that's probably my Pakistani subjective nature coming in. But objectively, I think Trent Bolt had a fantastic series as well. Yes, he had one bad game where he went for like 39 runs or something. Otherwise, he was doing the same thing Shaheen was, but the difference was he's just a little slower, but he also bowled well at the death. Shaheen didn't have the best death overs in this World Cup. So Trent Bolt, yeah, I understand that. I would just change the batting order, maybe put Markram at 5 and Moeen Ali at 6. But that's probably the only other changes that I can think of that I do. But that team is very solid. It's a very solid team. And hard to argue with their selection. Like I said, I'm a bit biased, so I went with Shaheen in the side. But barring that, yeah, it's very difficult to change that.
Yeah, I was tempted to put Shaheen in there as well, because if you look at new ball bowling exclusively, there was no one better than Shaheen Afridi in this T20 World Cup. But ultimately, you have to look at the numbers as well. And Shaheen did only manage, I think, 7 wickets in 6 games. And even though he was brilliant in his opening overs, he did go for plenty, especially in the games that mattered towards the death. But anyway, let's move on to cricket returning to Pakistani shores. Big news coming out. Not only have Pakistan secured full home series versus Australia, New Zealand and England next year, but they've also bagged the hosting rights of the Champions Trophy in 2025. And this is massive for Pakistan cricket. And I know it's too soon to celebrate this because there is precedent of teams pulling out last minute. But for now, I think we deserve to be very, very happy. This is a big moment in the history of Pakistan cricket, especially post 2009. And what are your thoughts?
So my first thought is that Australia only agreed because they realized if they didn't agree, they were going to lose the semi-final. That's the real reason why Australia didn't go. But in all seriousness, it's huge for Pakistan. Having South Africa tour last year, or early this year, was huge. Now, New Zealand, Australia, England, this is exactly what Pakistan needed, right? That push. You'll have crowds in, you'll get more investment into the stadium. There'll be so much done for these tours that I'm super excited. Now, you mentioned something about the Champions Trophy 2025. Great venture, great vision. Inshallah, hopefully, I pray that it's able to happen in Pakistan, in Faisalabad, in Multan, in Pindi, in Gaddafi Stadium, maybe even Gwadar, who knows, right? In the National Stadium, Karachi. But at the end of the day, I'm very, very excited for the prospect of cricket back in Pakistan. Now, the annoying thing here is something that you kind of mentioned, and Hassan Bhai mentioned in a Twitter space as well, that the quality of the facilities and the services at the stadiums are not up to scratch. If you want teams like Australia, England, New Zealand, and a freaking world tournament to happen in Pakistan, all of this needs to be corrected sooner rather than later. And I know Mr. Ramiz Raja has been concentrating on drop-in pitches and, trying to improve one side of it. But maybe look at the catering or the curating of the stadiums as well, because that is going to be of the utmost importance, because fans in stadiums make the games much, much better rather than half the stadium filled up. If the stadium is 80, 90% full and the facilities are good enough, that just gives you an entirely different feel. So I'm very excited. I just hope, as you said, he was pulling out at the end. New Zealand kind of know exactly the repercussions of that. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. It's like, a small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. It's like that. It's a small step for countries agreeing, but the giant leap in this case will be that they actually come. They have full tours here in Pakistan, and then we see the result of what happens, because we don't want a situation like Bangladesh where the pitches are horrible. No offense to Bangladeshi pitches, and I know we'll get down to it, but we don't want those types of games. We want good, solid competition. Even if it's so close and Pakistan doesn't win everything, it's good enough that they toured Pakistan for long tours. England is playing, like 70 20s or something like that. That's not unprecedented, but that's huge. So very excited.
I'd say that is quite unprecedented. I don't think I've ever seen a 7 T20I series ever before. Maybe an India-New Zealand series, I think, happened not too long ago. But yeah, you're very right to point out that Pakistan definitely needs to look into improving the fan experience, make the game more accessible to people who have disabilities, and then also put in some stuff over there for the fans, just to improve the experience with respect to enjoying themselves, like laser shows. Ramiz Raja has talked about that, and of course, making all of the stadiums Wi-Fi accessible as well. So there are a number of things over there that we have to improve, including infrastructure. I know the Pindi Stadium definitely needs some upgraded seats. But as I said earlier, these 3 series that are coming up, full series, test series, Pakistan is hosting Australia, New Zealand, and England. This could prove to be a litmus test of sorts because you've got 8 test matches over there. And I think this could be an opportunity to improve towards the future. And I have to talk about Ramiz Raja over here, because ever since he's come into the fray, he's been extremely proactive. Not only has he increased the salaries of all first-class cricketers by 1 lakh, he's also brought in the new coaching staff. I know most of them are gone now, but that did work for Pakistan in the T20 World Cup. He has initiated the school cricket program as well. And now I know that a lot of credit goes to the previous managements as well. With respect to bringing international cricket back into Pakistan, these 3 tours were finalized in their time. Now they've been solidified of sorts. They did put in the bid for the Champions Trophy 2025. But then again, Pakistan cricket had a massive cloud over it not too long ago, just a few weeks ago. And to have a spokesperson like Ramiz at the table, I think he made a massive difference in solidifying Pakistan's position over here and telling the world that Pakistan cricket needs to be respected. We are a big player in this game. And I think I love that impetus that Ramiz brings and the pride with which he speaks about Pakistan cricket. And I definitely think that, that it is early days and we are yet to see how his tenure unfolds. But I'm extremely impressed thus far.
So far, so good. That's the thing. And good is an understatement. He has done things. You mentioned a perfect word there, proactive. He's been proactive in almost everything he's done so far. It's not just, I'm going to talk the talk. He's walking it and then telling us, this is what I'm doing. It's not that, hum ye karenge. And then a year later, hum ye karenge. It's like, I've done it. It's underway. So I'll tell you when it's done. Like, it's that type of proactive nature. It's that type of confidence that he's put forward. And again, large reason why certain things happened the way that they did in this kind of last month and a half. Teams were changed last minute. Babar Azam stepping up as a captain, right? Having that discussion with Ramiz Raja. I want to have Hafiz, Malik, Sarfaraz all in my team. Doesn't matter if I play them. I need them in my squad. So on top of that, the discussion that we had with the Prime Minister, Imran Khan, the way Ramiz Raja addressed everyone. Some people don't agree with it, but confidence he gave to the team was, you can do this. You have to win every single match. Don't come disappointed. And Pakistan, for the first time in a very long time, you cannot say this thing about Pakistan that they didn't try. Every single moment they were on the field, it looked like they were trying, apart from the last 4 balls of the tournament for Pakistan. But everything up till that point, it was like Pakistan is literally giving their all to try and hang in there. And they did. They definitely did. They won 5 on the trot, could have won a 6th, but it's all... No, I'm kidding. I'm not blaming anyone. Don't worry. I'm not blaming anyone. But there were certain things that happened, which obviously Australia played really well as well. So, yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. And Ramiz Raja is a great person to have at the pilot wheel.
Yeah, you rightly pointed out the confidence that he instilled in the team, and he put the onus on them really to go and perform. He gave Babar Azam his team of choice. And then also, he's just been a wonderful spokesperson thus far. He's been very vocal with the fans as well. And he's talking about bringing in a lot of change. And like you rightly pointed out, he's doing things. Like you even mentioned in the previous show that it's not Ramiz speaks anymore, it's Ramiz does. And he's showing us exactly that. And another great thing that he's done over here is that he's bringing in corporate sponsorship. There is a small matter of a blank check as well. I hope that materializes. But let's see how this progresses. Of course, best wishes with Ramiz Raja. Let's move on to the Pakistan versus Bangladesh T20 International Series, Asjad. And contrary to what many may think, this is not a very, very straightforward series because Bangladesh prepared dust bowls at home. And that is the reason why they're so successful at home versus any kind of opposition. And given the fact that Pakistan have taken pretty much the same team that played in the T20 World Cup, they just replaced Mohammad Hafiz with Iftikhar Ahmed, and the fact that Bangladesh are missing Shakib, Mushfiqur and Tamim. I think this is a golden opportunity to test your bench strength and pretty much play all of those guys who didn't get an opportunity at the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, I think to an extent that's exactly what Pakistan should do. Usman Qadir will be huge in this T20I series. I think him bowling with Shadab and Pakistan potentially, Nawaz playing, I know you're a big proponent of Nawaz as well. So I think that dynamic, the way Pakistan might potentially put that team forward of their bench is going to be really, really important. Now, the funny thing is you mentioned dust bowls. Pakistan will need really, really good spinners, but Hassan Ali here is actually going to be the most important bowler, I feel. Not Shaheen, not Haris, maybe Dahani if they play him, but Hassan Ali is definitely going to be that guy who needs the confidence after having a terrible T20 World Cup. The slower balls he can ball here, the kind of lengths he changes, his metronomic nature in certain conditions, he can be a very dangerous bowler against Bangladesh in Bangladesh. So in terms of the bowling side, I think that's so true. In terms of batting, Haider Ali, Ifti Chachu, right? These guys are definitely going to play. I would be shocked if you see Fakhr and Babar and, Malik playing every single match, because however much you look at those guys and you say, great players, etc., Pakistan needs to test their bench. They need to see how Haider Ali does in spinning conditions. Haider Ali isn't the best player of spin. Him playing in those conditions, even if he does bad, even if he flops like anything, he needs to get experience in these types of conditions. That's the reason why I want Dahani as well to play, because what he'll be able to do is use his skills and see, can I bowl in dust bowls? Can I do this? If yes, then that's another skill in his arsenal. Maybe that will help him become an even better bowler. So, yeah, definitely Pakistan needs to test their strength. You mentioned dust bowls, spinning friendly conditions, terrible batting conditions. The best thing is, from Bangladesh perspective, Pakistan lost to Zimbabwe in Zimbabwe because of that reason, okay?
Yep.
They will be confident, even without Mushfiq or Shakib, Tamim, etc., they would still be quite confident that they can beat Pakistan in these conditions. But what Pakistan needs to go in with that confidence, the same confidence they had in the T20 World Cup. We just need to win. Hashtag we have, we will.
Yeah.
Basically, they just need that will. They need to keep performing. They need to go for the win, not just go for, we'll just play well. Try your hardest throughout the entire series, be it Test, be it T20I, but just don't give up. That's something I think Pakistan needs to do. So definitely Shaheen needs a rest though. Shaheen, he needs a rest. Just chill out, man. Just take a trip. Go to Peshawar because you need some rest, dude. You've been playing since July last year. He had 3 games rest over the course of a year and a half, okay? Freaking Chris Wokes, one of the best English bowlers, he got half a year off from playing cricket. There's so much that he's done for Pakistan cricket. I think it's not going to be an easy series, but Pakistan can definitely try their bench up.
Absolutely. I 100% agree that Pakistan have that winning momentum from the World Cup and they can straight away take that into this series. And they have to be laser focused to win over here, which I think they already are. Of course, the pressure is on Hassan Ali. He needs to settle a score over here and come back up trumps for Pakistan. And I think he will manage to do that. And with respect to, of course, testing the bench strength. Look, you mentioned Haider Ali. He is the future of Pakistan cricket with respect to batting. You've got to play him regardless of whether he fails or if he succeeds. And then Iftikhar, he's definitely won his spot back into the team. He was a man possessed in that national T20 that just got recently concluded. And then you look at the likes of Dhani. It's about time Dhani gets his debut for Pakistan. In fact, had he debuted for Pakistan earlier, he could have been a shout for this T20 World Cup as well. Then you look at guys like Wasim Jr. and everyone. All of these guys, I think, deserve an opportunity. I would even rest Mohammad Rizwan, man. Honestly, with the week that he's had, I think Sarfaraz can play in these games. He's a good player of spin as well. Just give Rizwan some rest. Wrap up Shaheen Shah Afridi in cotton wool. This is the perfect time to rest him because he has to play the test series, right? That's a no-brainer. But also one thing that I really, really hope Pakistan do is that they be a little brave and go in with that 3-spinner combination, regardless of who those 3 spinners are. I'd love to see Usman Qadir, but even if they go with Imad, Nawaz and Shadab, I'd still be happy. Now, they have 4 spinners at their disposal. Imad, Nawaz, Shadab and Usman Qadir. And I want to see all 4 of these play in this series. I'd even go ahead and play all 4 of these in the series. And you could just play Nawaz as an out-and-out batsman, That is a possibility. So with respect to team combination, I hope Pakistan goes this direction. And it won't be an easy series at all, but I definitely back Pakistan to win it.
Yeah, 100%. And hilarious if Pakistan lose 3-0 as well. That's just going to be outstanding. But yeah, I think Pakistan should win 2-1. That's the prediction I have so far. And if everything goes well, they try all these players. It'll be great to see Pakistan changing up their batting order. You said Mohammad Rizwan resting. Rizwan cannot rest. He needs to score 2,000 runs in 1 calendar year. He's a man possessed as well as Iftikhar Ahmed, but definitely testing the bench. I would love to see Sarfaraz back in green. So Yeah, man, very excited.
Absolutely, and I would predict a 3-0 victory over here for Pakistan because I think the quality of Pakistan's team is much higher than that of Bangladesh's, even on these pitches. Of course, there will be slow and low turners, but Pakistan is used to playing on these sort of surfaces. They've done well on these sort of surfaces. And then also, I think Bangladesh's team, the onus really is on captain Mahmudullah. Then you've got Mehdi Hassan Miraz, who will be a very, very important member of this team. And then you've got Mustafizur Rahman, who's not in the best of form. So I think that they lack a bit of superstar power over there. Of course, Tamim, Shakib and Mushfiqur Rahim are massive misses for them. And I think Pakistan can capitalize on this. And even if they play their entire bench, I think Pakistan should be able to wrap up the series quite comfortably. So it's going to be 3-0 for me.
October 2019, Sri Lanka came to Pakistan. Pakistan lost 3-0. July 2021, Pakistan came to England against England third string team. Pakistan lost that series as well. I'm just saying, Pakistan does not have the best history against B teams, if you know what I mean. But definitely, like I said, I think Pakistan's going to win the series. It's going to be a hard-fought series, though. You mentioned a couple of players there. Dude, Afif Hussain in Bangladeshi conditions is absolutely horrific to bowl to. You can think about, is Taskin Ahmed going to play? Because Taskin Ahmed, I don't know what he's done. He's bowling 150 kilometers an hour. You don't see a Bangladeshi bowl 150 kilometers per hour. It's great to see from that perspective. And then there's a few more players. You've got the new wicketkeeper. He's outstanding as well. His batting maybe not, but his keeping is out of this world. So Bangladesh has a few really good kinks. We just have to see how they get on because these conditions favor them and they won't be as confident after getting hammered 0-5 and Pakistan hammering 5-0 in the Super 12. So this competition, very, very excited. But as I said, Pakistan for the win. And as the flag in the back says, Pakistan Zindabad,
Absolutely. And of course, Bangladesh too have a point to prove over here. They had a horrendous T20 World Cup campaign. There's a lot of pressure on Mahmudullah Riyad as the captain. And they do have a few exciting players over there. You mentioned the keeper Nurul Hassan. There's Afif Hussain. I really like Nasoom Ahmed as well, the left-arm orthodox off-spinner. But I still think, even though I feel that these games will be closely contested, I think that Pakistan will just edge them out, and 3-0 sounds about right to me just because of the momentum that this team is carrying, and they've been hurt. They really must be itching to get back on the crease, and I think Pakistan really, this team here on, they will be different than the Pakistan teams of old because now they've gotten a lot of experience from this T20 World Cup. There's been a lot of growth, a lot of maturity. They're so composed. They really know how to carry themselves on and off the pitch. And I have really, really high expectations from them. So yeah, I'd like to see them tinker with the lineup, give everyone an opportunity, just be brave. And they know how to play these conditions. Bangladesh is depleted. This is a great opportunity to get a 3-0 scoreline, and I'll back them to do that.
I love the confidence. I wish I was as confident as you.
But that's a very, very good point you brought up over there. Pakistan's history versus B teams. The England series, though, the T20I series was versus full-strength England. But yes, I can never forget that Sri Lanka series played at home. Even though we had Ahmed Shahzad and Omar Akmal in that team, which made absolutely zero sense to me at the time. And I'm glad that we're past those days. But this unit, I have really, really high hopes from. I just like to see them start with Dhani at least. At the very minimum, I'd like to see Shahnawaz Dhani. And then, of course, Usman Qadir should get some game time as well, along with Haider and Iftikhar. Let's see what they do. But that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for making it to the show once again, Asjad. Anyone who doesn't know Asjad Pasha, he's a fantastic host, great orator, and has great knowledge of the game. A very, very balanced account of cricket. I'll leave a link in the description. Do check out Cricket for Us. And once again, Asjad, thank you for taking out the time.
Of course, it's a pleasure always to come onto your channel, talk all things cricket. And for everyone watching, please like and subscribe to CRIQAZI Diaries. Amazing channel. I love seeing your interviews. They're very vast and very, very objective as well. Very pressing questions. I absolutely love it. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for your kind words. Means a lot. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. And that is a wrap for Volume 82, folks. Just like Asjad said, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that bell icon in order to be notified about all of my latest videos. I'll catch you tomorrow. Once again, I'll review the India versus New Zealand T20 International that was played out today. That's all for now. Qazi off the mic.
Have a look at that. Miles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members. And it went like a